gentlemen?
Yes, madam.
Wait, we're not on live yet, are we?
We are.
Yeah, it is starting now.
No.
We have a very special guest, Mr. Andy Heger. So before we properly introduce Andy, I'm going to pour wine number one.
You just did properly.
No. That's just name alone. That's not a proper introduction. There was no pedigree there. So you want to tell me what we're drinking for number one?
Well, I'm gonna say that the grape is Chenin Blanc, but I'm gonna properly introduce the wine, I think, in a few minutes when we talk a little bit about people's white wine drinking habits.
So the beginning of this is not proper introductions.
Well,
for people or for bottles.
Not for the bottle.
It's gonna be a slow burn. You're the glass, sir. You're our guest.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh yes, madam. Thank you. The service of this place is improving.
For all the thousands of people viewing, look at our new lights and our new set.
How's that for a pour? Is that a sufficient amount?
It's good. That's terrific. You generally, anything that's below sort of the halfway line, anything that's below the widest point on a wine glass is inoffensively correct.
Whoa.
So the wine glasses have wide points, right? Anything on a properly shaped wine glass, you're kind of below the widest point, you're safe. Now in a glass shaped like this,
the more the better.
No, absolutely not.
Jesus Christ. We're off to a great start.
You need.
Wait, what? If you're in a restaurant, you order wine.
Well, that's different because you want more the better. Okay.
Can we put the wine in our mouths?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Cheers.
Wait, I thought.
No.
So this is inoffensive?
What is?
The pour.
The pour is great. Pour is perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, now how do we do it? Tell us how to do it.
Okay, so smell the wine. And now.
Remember our thing.
Okay, just stick your nose around. And then you're going to take a small sip at first.
Wait. I'm sorry. I have to already interject because you're telling us to smell the wine. Look how Steve smelled the wine.
Try again.
Well, I touched my nose to it.
It's fine.
But
I don't care. There's not somewhere. That's good. That's great.
That's great?
That's great. Get your nose right down in there.
Yeah, were you going to handle me?
No. Get your nose down in there.
I crushed that.
I thought you were supposed to put like the whole...
Oh, your lip angle?
Oh, no, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
My nose is so big, you can't
No. Go full Cyrano de Bergerac. Get that shit down
Get in there.
All right.
Okay, so then you're generally gonna, the easiest way to, aeration is always good with wine. So you're gonna put the wine on a flat, the way you'll never spill, no matter how hard you swirl it, if it's sitting on the table, it won't come out of the glass.
It won't.
So you can just go like that. You can just go like that, it won't come out of the glass as long as the bottom never comes off the table. That's true for a full-size glass too.
Right. Okay.
News you can use.
No, this is all a ruse so that you learn how.
I know. This whole thing was put on so I don't look like a fucking child.
So just as long as you don't.
That's fun.
As long as you resist the urge to pick the glass up, if you keep it on the surface and you circulate it, it will never splash.
I feel like that's it. You guys, thank you so much for coming. We've been educated.
All right, so now you've smelled it. You're going to put a small amount in, and then when you do this, and I'll do it.
Just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip. You're going to put in a small amount, and then you're going to just sort of push as you're drinking it. If you're trying to taste the wine sort of critically, you're going to be sucking air in as you're bringing the wine in, and then you're going to be sort of moving it and sloshing it around in your mouth. The idea is to put as much air into the wine as possible and to touch all the different parts of your mouth, and then you just swallow it. So, for example, like this.
Oh, there's an actual slurping sound. That's how you do mouthwash.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is like oil.
Right. So that's basically it. So you're going to, if you're trying to taste the wine critically.
So the slurping sound that was obnoxious that I just heard is proper?
This is
for tasting.
Yeah.
I mean, not like if you're in a restaurant, okay, but if you're trying to taste it like you're
trying
to assess the quality of wine.
Dude,
I do that if a sommelier comes to me in a restaurant and pours me wine, I do that to taste it. But I don't do that every sip.
But they'll hear the slurp and they think that's
okay. Fuck yeah, of course. It makes me look like a fancy man.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, which I am.
Wait,
drink. Jesus Christ.
So do this properly, though.
This is so much
fun. You want to see it again? Okay.
Wait, listen.
It's more about the sound.
That's amazing. I thought we turned your phone on silent, dude.
Come on, this is completely off.
Bullshit production over here. And by the way, don't put it on the full table felt. Jesus.
Oh, come on, sorry.
All right, I'm doing it.
Do you know how tempting it is to just like boop, your cheek when you're doing the.
Oh, it's
I know.
nice. No,
I
Okay.
just want to see.
All right. So do
Here I
that.
go. Here I go.
Okay. Are we doing one at a time?
Yeah, small amounts. You don't need much.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't know how to do it.
That's correct.
How'd you do that?
It's not hard. Why are you?
Wait, I don't know.
He's afraid that he's going to spit it out or it's going to come out of his nose and he's
Right.
going to embarrass himself.
Mm-hmm.
Or they just get like a choke.
Mm-hmm. I got it. The liquid has to be further back in your throat.
Okay, whatever. I'm not.
Okay.
I,
You know what?
I'm a straight dude. I can't.
Oh, see? You see? You know what they... Well,
Anyway.
Oil pulling. Has anybody tried oil pulling?
all right, that was nice. And I learned, and I smelled, and I tasted, and I...
Well, now you're just showing
Yeah, that's
off.
like... You're like the
Really
Jason
showing
Momoa...
off.
It's in the
wine
front
focus.
of my mouth, actually.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's
It's
right.
the frontal
It's a
lobe.
front. It's the very front part. You're holding it in the front part of your mouth and sucking air over the top of it. Don't lean back. Lean forward.
He needs a bid for this.
That's
That was
it.
pretty good.
Okay.
See, that's
all right,
it.
I'm gonna work on this.
Okay.
I'm gonna work on this.
So that's the way if you're critically tasting wine, you're trying to have aeration, you're trying to have all the different parts of your mouth. So you're trying to get whatever the wine is doing, you're tasting in a critical way. So this brings us to temperature.
Can I interrupt
You
you?
of course.
May I
I'm
interrupt?
sorry.
It's an interjection.
I'm just going to interject.
Yeah.
Because Steve and I know why you're here. We know who Andy Heger is.
Oh.
But they don't know why, to
Okay.
us, you are the wine authority.
Okay.
So I want a little bit of a background on why we chose you,
Okay.
why you're a wine authority, and how you became a wine authority.
Well, as a litigator, arguments from authority always go over super well, but I'll try not to do that.
We can switch to the word connoisseur if you prefer.
It's fine. Look, the short answer, well, the medium length answer, the funny answer to your question is that when I was a sophomore at the University of Missouri, I had 14 credit hour units and I needed a 15th hour, and I looked through the whole University of Missouri course catalog, and right across the street from my fraternity house was at 3:40 in the afternoon on Thursday afternoon, Grapes and Wines of the World. So I convinced like 15 of my fraternity brothers to take the class with me. And then using our fake IDs, because we were not 21 at the time, we would go out to the wine shop afterward and let's sort of have our own lab on the materials of the day back at the fraternity house on Thursday afternoons. So most of them were kind of like, well, that's a fun thing. And they got, a passing grade and a college credit for this. And for me, it turned into a bit of a passion. And it's all gone from there. I've been pretty serious about wine, I think it's safe to say, since I graduated from college. Certainly while I was in law school shortly thereafter. So I'm 50 years old now. I've been pretty seriously into wine for 28 years. I live in Pasadena, not too far from Steve and Allie. And
We got in this house.
Steve was my realtor. Yeah, did an extremely good job. I am a lawyer who is forced to negotiate high-level things all the time. And I said to Steve, don't you think we should offer them X? And Steve said, no, we're going to get it for about $61,000 less than that. And by the way, not about, exactly $61,000 less than I said. And that is exactly what we got it for.
And now he's spent more than that on wine.
I'm going to say.
The wine cellar is full.
Oh.
By the way, the
So-
wine cellar, and just let's get back to the beef here, but the wine cellar, which was a huge part of why we chose that house, seemed massive to me. When it was empty and you were like, well, this is where the wine's going to go, I was like, okay.
Right, this is a racquetball court.
And now it's completely full.
Bursting.
Yeah. So we got
So it is,
another house.
I don't know. I mean, for some people this is a big number. For other people it's not that big of a number. I have a 2,500 bottle wine cellar. So
Jesus
if that's a
Christ.
lot, okay, but for some people that's like, haha, you little baby.
It's
But,
it's impressive.
That's very
I have about 2,500 bottles, and just today I got insured.
Oh,
nice.
awesome. So, and then again,
Is this from
quick,
Jack?
quick,
No.
Unrelated.
so unrelated. So the other kicker about being like someone who doesn't really understand the wine, he just slurped again, by the way.
He's tasting critically.
The last time I was in your wine cellar was not that long ago, and I remember kind of going back and looking to the front when there's the table and the chandelier, and I looked at the wall, plural, of wine.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought to myself, like, because I'm not like OCD, but like when I used to have CDs, they had to be alphabetized, they had to be like
Right, and then chronological within the alphabetical.
Exactly. Each
Yeah.
artist had their
Artist
like
alphabetical,
exactly,
chronological.
and that took a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how the fuck does he have any fucking idea?
I know where every single
Oh, no,
one
and
is.
Is it just like photographic memory?
Well, he's like,
you know,
all
where
the
he puts
Spanish
them?
are here and all the-
Organize it like a store.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well that makes sense.
It's gnarly though.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's organized like a store by region and then
By region and then-
year?
Well,
Or no?
I mean, region, sometimes sub-region. Also, you know, the stuff the older stuff's gonna go higher, more at like grab it like the younger
Sure,
stuff's
sure.
gonna go lower, and then kind of reload from the bottom and
Right.
move things up.
Top
But I mean, I haven't had this for long enough to have done that in a wholesale way because, to remind you, I only bought this house a year ago this month with the help of Steve Clark.
And so,
And my emotional support.
yeah. Exactly.
Yes, and your emotional support.
Okay, so we were at temperature.
Okay.
Oh, again, real quick, just so that we stay on a track, are you comfortable now going into detail about this wine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
That's
so Andy chose all of the wines,
right.
and we're starting with this.
All right. So this is 2019 Francois Chidon Moloui Les Choisil. This is a wine made in the Loire region of France, and it is 100% Chenin Blanc, which is a grape that gets a bad rap in America because while they were, listening to Linda Ronstadt in the late 1970s, everybody's mom was drinking Chenin Blanc out of boxes. So everybody thinks Chenin Blanc is cheap because there's very little high quality Chenin Blanc made in the United States. And indeed, this is a French wine. There are a few, but there are very, very few. And there's a lot of sort of supermarket box wine or, $10 stuff from Lodi that you could buy at Ralph's that says Chenin Blanc on it. And Chenin Blanc, domestic Chenin Blanc has the connotation of being cheap shit. And that's unfair to the grape. It is made very, very well in other parts of the world. And the reason I brought this wine is because in the U.S., I think people think that white wine is basically white wine that is of some quality is either Sauvignon Blanc or Chardonnay. And so you have these groups basically of people who are really into Chardonnay, and then people who are sort of the anything but Chardonnay crowd, and most of those people start drinking Sauvignon Blanc. Chenin Blanc, or then you have the Pinot Grigio crowd, which, please, you shouldn't do that.
Olive Garden?
Don't do that. That's Santa Margarita's Pinot Grigio drinking. Please stop.
Wow.
So
Okay, I've learned 3 things now.
Andy Heger's statements are his own. We are happy to work with people of all tastes.
just wait till I shit on one of the next 2 wines.
I don't know anything about anything which you know, and this is nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
We like
so
it.
here's the point. This doesn't taste anything like Chardonnay. You've
No.
had enough Chardonnay to know that.
I personally don't like Chardonnay.
Okay, it's fine. It's allowed. It's
Yeah.
allowed. But probably what you don't like is that
Is it fruity?
No,
It's
no,
that
no.
buttery, oaky, thick.
Oh.
a lot of California Chardonnay is over oaked
Yeah.
and over malolactic fermented, which means it tastes like buttered wood.
Yeah.
And that can be
You
gross.
just said.
Yeah.
Golly,
So, for example, the most famous example of this is Cougar Juice, which is to say Rombauer Chardonnay, which costs a fair amount of money, and
He did just say cougar juice.
Yes,
And
that's what.
We'll come back to that.
Okay, that's what people who know about wine call Rombauer.
Oh,
Chardonnay.
you didn't just make that up?
Oh no, that's a thing that like people go, ah ha ha.
Oh.
You ordered the cougar juice.
So you order the cougar juice. So there is a like certain. It's the official wine of Karen.
Damn.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen a brunette drink Rombauer.
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
just gonna say.
Okay, all right.
So the last time I had a Chardonnay tasting in my house, we do blind tastings frequently, and
I won.
That's so weird.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never been invited. It's.
I won one. And then I got disqualified.
Yeah,
and that's an actual true
because
story.
we fucking cheated.
I didn't.
The
You can't cheat if you don't know that you're cheating.
well, that's true.
We'll talk about that later.
You sabotaged the situation.
I outsmarted everyone.
Well, inadvertently. But no. So we're talking about Rombauer.
Cougar
Cougar juice, yes. So Rombauer is just extremely buttery, oaky, and over extracted. The fruit is overripe, and it's like it's high in everything. It's all just like tits and ass.
So it's an action movie.
Yeah, and
But do we not like action movies?
well, that
Not
can
if
be
we're going to
fine.
see a fine film, we don't
Right.
want an action movie.
Right.
But if you're like, I'm going to an action movie, sometimes action movies are fine.
If you put this in one of these tastings and people are like, I want to drink the wine for the quality of the wine,
It
that
loses.
comes last
Okay.
by a lot.
It's to loosen you up for a man 20 years your
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
It really
Head
is.
of HR.
Not possible for me. That would be illegal.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
still young.
Yeah.
Because that person would be 9.
Yeah. Well, no.
11.
All
right.
So anyway, so everybody who doesn't like Chardonnay goes, oh, well, I guess like Sauvignon
Sauvignon
Blanc
Blanc,
then,
right.
or Pinot Grigio, which there are like 5 good Pinot Grigios in the world, and trust me, if you're
haven't had
a
them.
Pinot Grigio drinker, you haven't had them. They're good, but there's like 5 of them. So people default to Sauvignon Blanc, and those wines can be really, really nice, but I think those are mostly people who are just like, I hate the Yankees, so I'm cheering for the Red Sox. Like, I don't think that's a function of people's displeasure with Chardonnay, and they go, well, that's the other choice. So the reason I brought this is to say, well, there is a third way.
Chenin.
So you're
Chenin Blanc, Chenin. So
Chenin Blanc.
this wine got, I think, 96 points from Robert Parker, which is a very high score.
Out of 1,000.
Yes, out of 1,000.
You put stock in the wine ratings? You trust?
I trust some of them.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Remind me in a second.
Yes.
Robert Parker is one of the ones that I very much put stock in. And this got 96 points, and which is a very high score. And I bought this the other day, and I think I paid $36.
Oh, so that's what reasonable.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's
Is
cheaper. It's cheaper than a bottle of Rombauer
Right,
at
that's
Ralph's.
like $39.
Okay.
And it's a lot better.
Okay.
It's a lot better.
So you don't have to spend $100 a bottle getting.
No, you definitely don't. Although certain types of wine you do. The wine we're about to have, you have to spend some amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Pinot Noir is very, very
Is that what
expensive to make. Pinot is what we're doing next.
Okay.
Pinot Noir is very expensive to make. And there are very, very few places in the world where the amount of labor involved to make Pinot Noir correctly, given the variability of the yields and the fickleness of the grape, that's a very winey term, you end up with a whole lot of labor for a very low yield of grapes. And so you can't make that for
Yeah, so bottom line is it has to be
$8.
expensive.
Right. I mean, if you're running a tractor through like a field in Bolivia, like I suppose you could, but like that's not wine. That's farming.
Got it.
Right. So Pinot Noir is probably the hardest of any grape to make inexpensively. So there's a wine called Cross Barn you can get for it's made by Paul Hobbs, which is a very good winery. You can get Cross Barn for maybe like $30. And to me, that is the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like the absolute floor for this is pretty good
Pinot Noir.
for Pinot Noir. Like less than that, I don't think it exists.
Don't fuck with a Pinot under 30.
Yeah, it's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Okay.
And like, honestly, at Ralph's, like, just don't do
Pinot.
But are we
Yeah.
buying wine at Ralph's?
no, and never.
In
You're
an
going in-
emergency?
In an emergency, you're buying brand name champagne at Ralph's
Right.
because they have, and you're not buying Veuve Clicquot, you're buying something else.
Right.
But you're buying Tanger.
Right.
Like yeah, if you got the club card at Ralph's, you might get a
Thoughts
bottle of
on
Tanger. Oh, great, but I don't think you'd get it.
They don't have it at Ralph's.
What
They
is
don't
it?
have it at Ralph's. Bollinger.
Bollinger.
Bollinger is an absolute fave. Like, one of the best.
Boli Stoli?
What's that R one that we got? Rent
Who got?
that you and I got a bunch of champagne at Christmas.
Again.
Oh, Roederer. I'm
Roederer.
sorry. Geez, sorry. I
No,
had
it's okay.
spaced
Yeah,
out
it's an
there.
R. I knew it was
Yeah,
an R.
Louis Roederer. We had the Louis Roederer collection 242. That's awesome stuff. And
That's
that
good
was,
stuff.
well, yeah, and you sourced a great price on that. It was like $37. That usually goes for around 60.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we bought all that.
Oakmont.
Can you
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Sean Van Straub. Okay.
So two things. Just because Andy is a better drinker than we are,
He's advanced.
he's advanced.
He's
I-
paid the time. The 10,000
I'm a
hours.
trained professional.
Yeah. Far exceeding 10,000 hours. I mean, at minimum, I have 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
So he's way
And 50 and go harder.
Right. So for funsies, because he's a better drinker than we are, we're drinking wine. I just want you
Yeah.
to give me a little Carol Burnett
Yeah.
when you are drunk, so that
Oh,
I
I
know.
was drunk before
You're already
he
drunk.
got here. Yeah.
Okay.
Good to know.
We did whiskeys at dinner.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
Well,
I didn't know that I
I
was
had 3
drunk.
cocktails before I rocked up, so we're good.
Yeah. No, I'm not like drunk, but I'm loose. Yeah.
Okay.
We went to the bar
Okay.
for a date night.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
So the second pivot then is you alluded to Steve cheating at a wine tasting, which I feel like is our
Okay.
segue into.
Oh, and I'll tell you exactly what
Well,
happened.
we're going to talk
Well,
about.
this is about temperature.
But I
This is
got
what the
fucking
cheating.
robbed, dude.
Okay, well,
I
you know,
won.
you can take it to the Hague if you want.
I
Basically,
didn't know I was supposed to pregame, and I regret it.
Wait, but the peoples have told us to pregame.
so basically, the
I'm
issue
thinking of
with
chicken.
temperature in wine is that temperature. The lower the temperature, the more it disguises the flaws of the wine. So if you bring
Cold.
the colder it is, the more you just go, well, this ain't bad, right?
Well, but
Okay, hang on.
I mean, I'm not the smartest guy, but like
This is a guy who carries around a red light to make himself look more attractive.
for sure,
Yeah.
all the time. No, but I mean, then why wouldn't you just have it chilled? I'm sorry, but that just,
Because the point is you're trying to enjoy the
truth.
nuances and the truth. It's, I mean, the temperature is the burqa.
okay.
So it's like, why wouldn't you always wear a burqa? Well, because
All of Andy Heger's opinions and statements are his own. They are not representative
I know,
of
they
Clark
like-
living
Yeah.
English.
by the way, yes, and some of my best friends are Muslim. I know, but I mean,
No,
like,
that's
it's-
the truth, actually. But
that is the truth. Yes.
yeah, but it made me very uncomfortable when you just said that.
The finger quotes are.
yeah. That was,
Hello, Jehan.
oh god.
So yeah, no, but it's the colder you serve wine, the more it disguises flaws.
Yeah, disguises.
But the point is,
I get it though.
you're like, I mean, again, it's just like it's like bikini time and burqa time. It's the range between
As
burqa
a
and
more
bikini.
direct, is this an ice cream versus gelato thing? Because it's lower temperature, you get more flavor.
No. This is just straight up like
Hiding.
it's hiding. Yes.
So the bottom line is, Kainu and I were invited over to one of these incredible wine tasting evenings, and what you do is you bring 2 bottles.
Yeah.
One of them
Tell
is
them, I fucking know.
one of them is put in a bag and like
2 of them both are put.
Well,
They
yeah,
have to
one-
be paired up.
right, but you win basically if your wine wins, you get everybody's second bottle. So you go home with
Right on.
12 bottles of wine, and then it's like you're trying to be sneaky, right? Like, oh, I wonder if I can win with a $20 bottle. Because someone could come in and just slam dunk it with like some crazy ass wine, right? Well, Kainu and I were like, we'll go middle of the road.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to cheap out, but we're also not throwing down crazy, right? So we got a couple, mid-level from Sean.
Like solid $50 Pinot Noir.
Yeah, like pretty average. And then we don't know anything about anything, so we put them in the fridge because we had them for a few days. And then like, you know, we're going over to Andy's for the party. So we took them out of the fridge and like took them to the
And
party.
so by the time they roll up to the party, they've come from fridge temperature to cellar temperature, which is just perfect temperature.
Yeah,
for
we
Pinot Noir.
just, and we won. And
Whereas
we won
everybody
our wine.
else's have come from cellar temperature to room temperature.
Ours was more
So
delicious.
basically, like everybody else was competing in the swimsuit competition, and they were competing like in the evening wear competition. And it's like, that looks really hot in the evening wear.
like-
He forgot that he put some weights in the front of his bobsled, not to
Yeah.
mix our metaphors.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like that, except that if you know, I know like nothing about wine. So we're in a room with people who know about wine, and I'm taking so much pride in the fact that everybody keeps picking my wine, and no one knows it's mine. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then at
Did
the
you
end,
keep a straight face the whole time?
oh,
or you doing
100%.
this?
Yeah.
No, poker. And then at the very end, it was like, hey, by the way, you know, the number 3 got the most votes. Who was number 3? And I'm like, I'm number 3, and I'm the coolest person in the world. And then I'm thinking, not only did I win, but then
Yeah.
now I get all this great wine to go home, and then I got disqualified. And
I
accused of being a cheater.
You're fucking cheating.
The problem is,
like
yes,
womp womp.
basically.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
What
thing.
are
I
you
mean,
eating to?
the problem is for if you're going to have a Pinot Noir tasting for like 30 odd people,
Yeah.
you can't keep all the wine at cellar temperature
Right.
for
Yeah.
consumption. So yours arrived accidentally at exactly the right drinking temperature.
And that's not
everybody
just 'cause I'm a genius.
else's. Everybody else's was too warm.
All right, so let's talk temperature.
So let's talk temperature. So everybody, the one line takeaway is that people drink their white wines too cold and their red wines too warm. Okay? They should be a lot closer in temperature than you think, with certain exceptions. Okay? There are some white wines where you just want to go cold as, outside, pool time, and that's great. But especially Chardonnay. Chardonnay shouldn't be fridge cold when you drink it. I mean, a refrigerator, well, you're in real estate, refrigerators are what, 40 degrees, around that?
Well, they vary quite a bit.
Well, I don't know,
It's a
you
little
tell
warmer than 40.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a good. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
low 40s. That's a good
Okay,
question.
so you should be drinking your Chardonnay at 50, 52, okay? That's the right temperature for Chardonnay. So whatever you can do to put it there, I mean, our wine cellar is kept at 55, so we'll pull that out and leave it on the table for 15 minutes, and then it's, you know, warmed up a little
Okay.
bit.
That's a Chardonnay.
A Chardonnay. That's probably the warmest you would drink a white wine. So going down from there. Well, I just got that wrong. I'm sorry. Well, other way around. 55 is the cellar. We'd serve the Chardonnay at 50, so we wouldn't leave it on the table. We'd put it in the fridge for
That's
10
right.
to 15 minutes. Sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah.
Cut me off.
Yeah, we have
But-
a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The things like Pinot Noir definitely go in the fridge for about the same amount of period of time, maybe a little less. But Pinot Noir, you want a little warmer than you'd want Chardonnay, but not a lot warmer. Your Cabernets and Syrahs and Merlots would be a little warmer than that, but even then,
Like mid 50s.
like cellar temperature is perfect. You bring it out of the cellar, and like when we decant wines, and we can talk about that if you want to, we decant them and then we leave the decanter in the cellar until we're ready to serve it.
Gotcha.
So the point is like something that, you know, if your ambient house temperature is 72 and you're just pulling something out of your cabinet and opening it and dumping it,
That's way too warm.
well, I mean, you're looking at that wine basically naked.
Right, exactly.
And so
Could use a little airbrush.
could use a little airbrushing, yeah.
Mhm.
And some wines are fine for that, but, well, I mean, really high quality wines, you wouldn't even notice the difference, but like, not anything you buy at Ralph's.
Interesting. Ralph's
So, like-
is really getting a bad.
Well, Vaughn's also. The point is that your red wine should be colder and your white wine should be warmer than you think,
Okay.
except for like your New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs are great, really cold. That's like the best outside summertime poolside wine. Those wines, they drink really well cold because they got really bold flavors that like break through the refrigeration, and they're just like, it's like having a slushie by the pool. So like, go ahead and refrigerate the shit out of those.
You have something?
What are your opinions, respectively, on German, Austrian, South African whites?
Okay, the German whites are like my new thing.
That's
Really?
so
So
exciting.
I've bought an inordinate number of German white wines over the course of the last 2 years. I think they're amazing. It's very, very complicated to learn. I think
It's complicated to learn.
yes.
The complexity of the wine itself.
I think if you walked into a market and I said, here's a French Pinot Noir, you'd be like, okay, I have some idea.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what
Yeah.
you're not talking about the actual wine, you're talking about the wines that come out of a region.
Just understanding, looking at it as a consumer and saying,
Okay.
what am I buying?
Okay.
What should I expect from
What
it?
should I expect from
Is it,
this?
but that's when you lean on those ratings, right?
No, because you even then, like for example, the problem with I think I'm burying the lead here. Like in German wines, the issue is residual sugar. So Germany, the dominant grape is Riesling. So Riesling historically, for reasons that have somewhat to do with like botany and plant propagation, but also somewhat with history, those wines often have a lot of residual sugar in the bottle. So if you're making a wine out of a grape, the grape starts with sugar. Like when you eat a table grape, it's sweet.
Delicious.
Yeah. So when you're fermenting that into a wine, you're trying to transform that from a table grape into, you're taking the sugar and you're trying to make it into alcohol. So most grapes, when you're fermenting them, they just go, sure, dude, like no worries, I'm here for it. And all the sugar will get fermented into alcohol. Okay? Riesling, apparently, and again, I am not a botanist, is...
So you are a guy who leaves his phone on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Why don't you just grab that?
Yeah. Let's try to... I'm really going to try to turn that off.
That's why you get an apple.
I was going to say what we are sponsored by is Apple.
Okay.
Samsung.
I have... Okay, sorry. Yeah. The funniest part is that was quite literally my mother.
Asked her,
Tell us
is she
again
on
why
it?
you-
Yeah. And why did you get into drinking again?
Right.
So Riesling, the grape.
Okay, so the point is that Riesling doesn't naturally ferment all the way through all the time. So back when people were using super analog methods and we had less science and all that, they just went, well, fuck, I guess this is as far as it goes. So the wines are now a certain level of sweetness.
Yeah.
Well, then over time, depending on all sorts of things that I don't fully understand, you get varying levels of sweetness. So then they created this incredibly complex taxonomical system, all in a language that you do not speak, about what's sweet and what's not sweet,
Right.
and how sweet is it, and also, okay?
That's complicated.
That's complicated. So to answer your question about German wine is, I understand that stuff. So understanding that stuff, I'm all for it.
Right.
But like for people who don't understand it, that would not be where I would start to try to learn.
That's interesting.
That's a very, very...
That's advanced place.
that is definitely at least the blue slopes, if not the black slopes.
Okay.
So I like serving these things to people who think they know about wine, like super exotic dry Rieslings called Grosses Gewächs, which is a new thing they started like 20 years ago. This didn't exist in Germany until like 20 years ago. These wines are incredible. Everybody goes, well, what the hell is this? You go, I know a thing you don't know. But like, that's not a realistic place to start learning about wine, right? You wouldn't.
Yeah. No, I get that.
It's not based
So
on-
that's different than Rome.
Okay, so then Austrian wines are awesome. Like, I like Gruner Veltliner, and that's something that you dependably can get out. You can find values. It's a very good food wine.
Yeah.
I've been over there and tasted. There's a lot of very nice stuff there. Those wines are really sort of when you live in Los Angeles and you have a lot of exotic Asian food available to you, they're fantastic pairings for
Spice.
Chinese and Thai and sort of Southeast Asian food or Indian. So Gruner Veltliner is really useful as a food pairing wine. Very few of those are going to be like, ooh, wow, drink this standalone. I'm just going to sit down with my glass of Gruner Veltliner and contemplate the meaning of life. That's not a wine you would do that with.
But it's versatile with different types.
Especially
of
spicier
Yeah.
food.
So why? We could belabor this, but why? Why wouldn't I just sit and have a glass of that?
Because I think that, okay, so why do we, okay, I'm going to go.
No, I got you. You're trying to talk Steve.
It's not enough on its own.
Yeah.
The body of it?
The whole thing. So here's the point. Wine and food, this all comes back to the concept of you have to eat every day. And what we, as people who have senses, and people who go wow, food tastes good, and trust me, I'm obviously among them.
Yeah, beyond sustenance.
Right. You sit there and go, well, food is...
We're back.
Oh, did we cut off?
I don't know.
No,
It said low battery.
Okay.
I ordered a new phone today. By the way,
So-
it's purple.
So...
That's a fact.
I guess the answer is if you're deciding you're not just going to eat the roadkill that you find in your yard, and you have enough means that you can make things that taste good, where you get satisfaction from food, then the point is that what I think has been realized is that we've got beer, we've got wine, we've got distilled spirits, and that there's a certain taste and sensory marriage between food and wine that is just better than it is with beer or with hard liquor.
It's interesting, right? Because I don't drink beer, and I very rarely drink wine, right? But you know that I'm part of the whiskey world.
Yeah,
and
but not with your sushi.
Well, no, but that's last night. I had Japanese whiskey with my sushi.
But not as a point of way to make the sushi taste better.
No.
Yeah.
It's before or after.
Correct.
Or around. It's not.
But it's interesting because I finish my most evenings with a glass of some kind of scotch or whatever, and
Right.
that's not accompanied by food, but it is accompanied sometimes with a cigar because it does bring out a certain.
Right.
So it's I see the.
Right. And so the point is with wine,
family.
the reason why wine is such a taxonomical, complex, expensive, complicated thing relative to the other things is because I think we've kind of come to the conclusion as a species that it just goes better with food than anything. So I guess my answer is, why is it so good with food? The answer is, certain things are a cocktail substitute. Like a glass of Napa Valley Zinfandel can be a cocktail. I'm not drunk. I'm just sorry.
I'm just a little drunk.
Do we need a bucket?
No. Sorry. I just had a hiccup. Not even a hiccup. I just
Dude, if you
burped.
barfed right now, it would be the best. That would be
Steve, my BAC is like 0.03
I know, but
right now.
dude, just force a barf.
Hold on for reasons.
This will go from
other than
20 people to
loud.
23.
Yeah, no, it'd be sorry, I
Did you
can't
see
make
their
you do
Stand
about
By Me episode?
it. Yeah. So the point is that there are
That's awesome.
there are wines that are great sort of standalone cocktail substitutes.
Right. Which is what you just said as Zen.
Zinfandel would be the most obvious example. So many California Zinfandels are just so great to just have
On their own.
But with food, they're pretty crap, mostly.
That's interesting.
But except with food that is just wine unfriendly food, like barbecue. Barbecued ribs are not, wine is not a great accompaniment for that.
That's what you have bourbon with.
Right.
Or beer.
Right, yeah.
Right.
But,
I never like beer with food just because it's too filling.
well, I
I'm not
like
gonna
beer
have
with
enough.
chicken wings at a sports bar, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, I just think to answer your question, there's just not, Gruner Veltliner doesn't have that meal in a glass, self-satisfying thing. Whereas if you put a good one with a nice piece of fish, all of a sudden now you've got a pairing, and that synergy between food and wine is, I think, what has made
that's awesome.
wine.
That makes sense. It's funny. Let's get to the Pinots, but what's interesting is when I first met you,
Right.
you know, you had just gotten back from 8 years on the ocean, and then you're this like, everybody okay?
I think Steve's not on camera.
He's on it. No, he's pretty on it.
Oh, he is? Okay. All
We
right.
got enough of me.
Okay, all right.
No, but like when I first met, I like Kindwin knew Andy when they were kids, and then Andy and Melissa went on the ocean for 8 years, quite literally, and then I come into the picture when they get back, and like you started telling me stories that were just so outrageous. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, right? But then it turns out they're all true. Well, part of that kind of like Andy thing was that this knowledge of wine and pairing it with this and not that, and let's do that. And I just was like, I didn't think you were horseshit, but I kind of thought the whole philosophy behind it was like, come on, man. Like, you know, and it's interesting because like, that's a very naive and a very immature palate, and I just didn't grow up with alcohol in my house, and if it was just dudes getting wasted. But like,
This is exactly where we're going.
right, exactly. But I am learning, and you know, and just real quick, like I first learned with coffee. Like once I started not putting creamer and any sweetener in my coffee, I started going like, that's shitty coffee, and then like, oh, that's good, and I started learning, right. And then with cigars, it's like people would talk about this cigar, that cigar, and I'd smoke, and they're all fine. They all taste fine. And then all of a sudden, one day, you wake up and you go, oh my God.
Right.
Like, that cigar is fucking awful, and this one was smooth and easy.
And then again, this is the thing, like, we all have the luxury of this because we, like, have indoor plumbing and air conditioning and aren't fighting our survival.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Here we go.
with the Pinot Noir.
Should I plug that in? If I can, are we
If
okay?
you can.
Here, you guys pour the
Okay,
Pinot.
so
This is high level production.
So we are, do you want me to talk about the wines?
Yeah.
This is Maomi Pinot Noir. Maomi is the Cougar Juice red version.
Love Cougar Juice.
Okay. This is the single most, how to put it, reprehensible wine made in America.
Should I have done a smaller pour?
It's all right. We're gonna drink it.
Half.
It is. It's
Under the
about.
equator.
It's about $20 a bottle. It is manufactured within an inch of its life. Think about like the worst plastic surgery any aging actor has ever had, and this is basically what this wine is. So this is trying to do the impossible, which is to take agricultural grade fruit and turn it into something truly special. So, you know, this is
Okay, everything's fine.
an absolute like this is the ultimate supermarket wine. I haven't looked up how many bottles are produced a year, but it's probably in the millions or the many hundreds of thousands.
This is the Cougar Juice?
This is the red Cougar Juice. Okay.
All right, I'd like to say to everyone out there right now before we get into this, when the screen goes dead, the show's over.
Okay.
Because I can't, the charger
Can't
won't
find
reach.
the charger?
Well, it just
Oh,
won't
won't
reach.
reach.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so we're gonna
we'll
up
go
the
until we
speed
go.
a little bit. Just to go a little bit faster. So, quick question. You basically told us that this bottle of wine is, in no uncertain terms, a piece of shit. The fact that it's a screw-off cap instead of a cork, does that
That's
have
not the
any
problem.
relation? Okay.
That's not the problem.
So
there's
a
high quality
screw-off
wines
cap doesn't indicate a
This
shit wine.
doesn't even taste like wine. Honestly, it tastes like a
Ooh.
cherry sundae.
You know what it reminds me
It
of?
smells like feet.
But the problem isn't that it's gross. The problem is that it doesn't taste anything like what it's supposed to taste like. It tastes like a cherry sundae. It tastes like a cocktail where somebody dropped a bunch of grenadine in it.
Oh God. Oh God.
Like, it does not taste like wine.
No, that's real sweet.
It's got all sorts of weird sweetness and all sorts of just simple, basic, like over-extracted, juicy, oaky, cherry, sugary flavors. Like that
what it kind of reminds me of, but like a lighter, like a much, much lighter version,
is
every high holiday.
I was gonna say you're talking about a shit wine and two people who grill on Manish.
I'm like, Chilu hotzi hotzianu hotzianu.
This tastes like somebody dropped a butterscotch candy from the bottom of their handbag into Manischewitz.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. That is exactly what it.
Okay.
Like a little bit of
smells
dust, a little bit of corn syrup.
But you have to understand, like, I understand that there is a market for this. Okay, like, that is
Okay.
sugary.
But how much money is it?
$18.
So so my question would
That's
be
way too much.
right, but okay, yeah, totally. But my question is, okay, this is terrible. This is terrible, and we all agree. And even I don't know whether we're fine. This is terrible. Okay.
Yes.
But for $18, could I get something good?
Oh, Pinot Noir, probably not.
Right. So
You get something a fuckload better than this.
okay.
You can get something decent.
Ooh.
But better than this.
Way better than this.
Okay.
But this is you understand, this is a plastic surgery wine.
It's a big Mac.
Yeah.
This is a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to the masses.
Yeah.
Right.
And it tastes like
So the
that,
person
doesn't
who
it?
owns this company is doing okay.
I'm sure they are.
Right.
They sell a lot. They advertise on network television.
What?
This wine advertises on network television.
Like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills kind of shit.
Oh no, like CBS.
Wow.
Network.
I don't know what that is.
Network is what you
No,
don't
I'm.
have.
Look, I mean,
That was like
I never
what a
know.
bizarre.
that joke missed.
I mean, it is so incorrect. I mean, whether you want to say it's good or not,
Yeah,
I'm fine if somebody goes, I like that.
Yeah, but it's
Cool.
not wine.
But it's just like saying it's the difference between a vodka martini and a gin martini, where you're like, okay, so you like vodka martinis. That means you don't like martinis.
Yeah, because a martini is gin.
Oh.
Right, yeah. It's just
You
not
like vodka in a martini glass.
Right. This is a thing that is sold in the wine department of your local supermarket that just doesn't taste like wine. Mayoni.
Oh, Mayoni. Right.
Okay, so now let's try at a seriously good one.
Okay, wait. So this was.
Do you want to talk about the stemware because you brought your own stemware?
Oh, yes. So here's an important thing.
Yes,
well, I didn't.
Well, you bought them.
I bought them, yes. This is
They reside
They
here.
reside here.
Yeah. Our relationship's advanced.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
No,
saying.
this is, okay, so bring me the other glass, the seventh glass.
Please.
Please,
mother-
please, madam. Please, madam.
Jesus,
What's the magic word now?
What are we saying? No!
Okay.
Well, that's quite a bit
You
bigger.
can see this. Well, so one is taller and one is wider. So the one in this hand is considered to be like a balloon glass or a Burgundy glass or a Pinot Noir glass. The one on the other hand is a Bordeaux glass.
This one.
This one.
Okay.
And generally here is your news you can use, differentiation between what wine goes in what glass. The easiest way to do this and to be right 92% of the time is look at the bottle, okay?
Uh-huh.
If the bottle has no shoulders, right? No shoulders
Oh, come
like
on.
this.
This is a thing.
No shoulders like this. That goes in the balloon glass. If the wine has shoulders, it goes in this glass.
Curvy bitch goes in Spanx. Thin bitch needs a push-up.
Okay.
It needs
Okay.
a push.
So like a lot of wine bottles have shoulders on them. The shouldered wines go in the taller, thinner glass, and the unshouldered wines go in the shorter,
So
squatter.
it's just exactly the
glass.
opposite of what the bottle is.
I mean, in a way.
Tall and thin, squatty.
Yeah.
Squatty,
Yeah.
tall and thin.
Yeah. That's kind of
We can
yeah.
do this without the pointing.
I did not
Okay.
point.
All right. So
I
now we're
did.
gonna try another
I
wine
pointed.
that is from I think what's widely considered to be one of the 10 best Pinot Noir producers in California. And for me, I think it's probably one of the 3 or 4 best
Pinot.
Pinot Noir producers in California. This is from
And is
Roquefort.
California producing the top Pinot?
No, absolutely not. But we're producing very, very good Pinot.
Okay. So top 5 or 10 in this state that's a big deal.
Oh, very big deal.
Okay.
Pinot Noir is the big Pinot Noir state.
Okay.
Most of the good Pinot Noir comes from Sonoma, and most of the good Cabernet comes from Napa. That has to do with geography, but that may be beyond what we're doing now. This is a wine from Sonoma, from a winery called Rocchioli. And this is a single vineyard Rocchioli. I think this is a 2016 River Block, I believe. It'll say at the bottom there.
I don't even want it. Okay.
And
You're gonna put it in your mouth. This is a good one.
It just looks so intimidating.
So, With the screw-off cap, the butterscotch Manischewitz, you just left the cap on there. This one, I noticed you took the cork out about an hour ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it.
Really?
Yeah.
Aeration of Pinot Noir is a complicated subject. I'm starting to come around to the fact that a little bit is good at all times, especially for California wines. For really, really old Pinot Noir, I would not open it in advance, but for anything...
What's really old?
Like the 1950s.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's wine that's 80...
There's wine from
way older
there's
than that.
wine
You can drink them?
There's wine from the 19th century that you can still drink.
Yeah.
Not much, but yeah, there is.
Look at us. Look at us.
Okay, look at this. You see, you swirl. As long as it stays on the counter, it never
It's like
comes.
seriously the most fun I've had all week.
Do it, close
Okay.
your eyes, Steve, close your eyes. Do it and close your eyes.
Yeah.
Oh
The
my
minute
God, it's awesome.
the minute you pick it up and it comes,
Fucking awesome.
the minute
I got a little dizzy with
Yeah.
those movies.
I would say Steve.
it also
may or
looks
may
like a
not
pretty much.
make
It kind of looks like a boss move,
Well,
right?
that's a fact.
Where you're just like, oh yeah. So the way you usually do this interview really is this.
Right.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, you split the finger?
Well, this is just like it's like
You're so
it's like you're smoking a
casual.
cigarette in a French movie, right?
You don't
so
even
fast.
need a thumb.
Nobody needs a thumb.
Yeah. Okay. So all right, let's try this now.
Well, I guess we do need them.
Same deal. Swirl over tongue.
So
with
it
it.
is.
It smells like
I'm
wine.
like oddly attracted to you when you do that. But look at that, you guys. Poked his cheek. Oh, that didn't do anything, so it's not anywhere near your cheek? Fuck, I still don't know how to do it. It smells very different.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that is crazy. Dude,
It's pretty good.
it's like candy. Okay, this.
It's like watermelon candy versus an actual watermelon.
Right. There's a little tahini on this watermelon.
I can't do that. I'll work on that for the next
Okay, yeah, but in
Oh my
terms of
god. Oh my god. Night and day.
night and day, right?
And there's
Yeah.
no
And there's people who go, I can't tell the difference between that and that, and you go, oh,
Wait, okay.
for real?
Okay,
You
what is
have
it?
COVID.
Yeah.
When the flavor stops, you drink it. I've always wondered about this.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of aftertaste with anything.
Ooh, well, aftertaste is a big part of wine.
I know. So what's the component where some of them just kind of stop? Like you drink it, it tastes great, you swallow, and then it's just gone. And then there's that other component where it just stays.
The lingering.
Yeah.
Well, the second
what
part
is
is what you're going. No, that's just a wine that's called long,
Uh-huh.
and much like with penis size, you want long.
Oh, did he say Pinot size?
Yeah, penis size.
Pinot,
We're
Pinot.
talking about
Pinot.
Pinot Noir size.
Yeah.
Noir size.
I'm having PTSD right now, not because of that.
You want
I mean, a lot of people are.
you want this to be. You want that lingering. I'm still tasting it a
So-
minute after I stop drinking it.
What's
That's
the wine?
that's
note
the
for
whole
her?
point.
That's so interesting because that's not really my jam.
No. But Steve,
Yeah, I kind of want it to just go away. That's bad.
you don't feel
That's-
that way about whiskey.
Yeah.
You don't.
This is a
You-
bias
you-
toward wine.
No. Steve, you don't.
You know what? Just I'm a big proponent of therapy, and so I think let's turn this into therapy. But I just hit on something a few minutes ago with the Hilu Hotzi Hotziana. I think as a little boy, like the first alcohol I was drinking were during the high holidays, and it was terrible.
Right.
This
So you were like,
this
I'm not a
explains a
drinker.
lot.
I think honestly,
Well, that's
I
a,
never
that's
liked, I
a
never
full
liked wine.
cultural thing. I'm not a drinker. I choose drugs because the alcohol that we are exposed to is
Hello,
garbage.
FBI.
So the Jews don't love the wine.
I got a couple of
That's
things.
interesting because I've never.
Part of
liked
it is not being into wine because your exposure to it is Manischewitz.
Yeah.
I think a bigger part of it is we do not have a strong constitution.
No,
we got
you know
a
that.
sensitive tummy.
Ashkenazi Jews.
I'm a stone cold
You're robust.
boy, so
But
yes.
you know my deal.
Right.
Steve's made
I
out
mean,
of
I'm
spare
literally,
parts.
I will be on the potty now.
No, Steve's made
for 3
of,
days.
You're made of spare parts, like it's a ship.
Straight up.
They found you in the fucking junkyard.
He's a
I am.
Yeah,
found objects called.
yeah, right. Yes, pretty much. That's really
I'm
funny.
laughing, but
Yeah.
I shouldn't be laughing.
Yeah, because it is your life.
And you're not laughing with me, you are
No,
laughing at me.
Yes.
I'm also.
Well, I'm actually doing both.
Yeah.
The
We're the same.
so.
I found objects.
So when you think about this one, think about how
Wow,
good this
this is
would be.
amazing.
Think about how good this would be with,
Cocaine.
okay, no, anything in the range from salmon to anything short of steak and lamb. So like,
it's interesting because I think a piece of steak would be great right now.
Can I ask you? I'm going to ask you.
Not wrong, but not what I would do.
This is a trick question, not a trick question, but it directly relates to the most recent episode of The Last of Us, which neither of you have seen.
Linda Ronstadt.
That's actually also correct. Did you know that?
No, I did. That's why I said it. Yes.
Wait, what just happened right now?
What wine do you pair with rabbit?
Probably this.
Okay.
This would be fantastic with rabbit. This would be probably the Pinot Noir and rabbit would be the best wine combination.
What's your second
Ever
choice?
want to eat rabbit?
For rabbit?
Yeah.
Rabbit? Why are you talking about eating rabbit?
Post-apocalypse.
Beaujolais?
Yes, that's the correct answer.
Okay, all right. Is that what they do in the show?
Yeah.
Wait,
that's how one character falls in love with another character because it's post-apocalypse and he's killed a rabbit and made him a beautiful lunch, and then he pours a glass of wine and he's like, a man who knows to pair rabbit with Beaujolais?
Okay, so Beaujolais was my second. There are a lot of wines. I'm glad I got that right. I have not seen it. Beaujolais and rabbit would be great. Yeah.
Very good.
I'm so confused.
So
I live my life in a state of confusion.
But so here's the point.
Think about that.
By the way, that's why we're doing this.
I know, because I'm like, why are there so many fucking glasses on my table right now? Like, I don't understand any of this.
But like, go back to this for a second.
Yeah, terrible. I just knew it was terrible.
You don't have to, but you should.
Just smell it.
Oh.
I'll just smell yours. I don't even want to cry.
I thought the watermelon candy versus watermelon was really fair.
Or like banana candy versus banana.
Ugh.
Banana candy is
Right?
a totally chemical.
That was my nickname in high school, by the way.
Banana candy.
I'm gonna bet it wasn't.
I mean, that is so. But in a way, this is just like
Take it away.
That's watermelon for people that only like watermelon candy.
Yeah.
This is actual watermelon, right? Like, it's a difference, truly a difference in kind. So what I thought I was going to do tonight was bring you like an $8 bottle of honest ass Pinot Noir,
right.
Honest but cheap,
Okay.
compared to an $80 bottle of Pinot Noir, which is at least what this costs.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Let's be honest, right? This is like an expensive sport.
Yes.
It kind of is. I mean,
Okay.
you're a guy who...
Okay. Yep.
So, is it unfair to just say, well, I was just throw it. So, this is shit, it was 18, this is 100, it's great. Right?
No.
Because if you really understand...
There's a lot of bad expensive wine.
Oh, okay.
There's a very little
That's
great
interesting.
cheap stuff. So
Wait,
I
I
will
will just have some kind of revelatory moment. Just let's let her roll with this, whatever it is. I've seen this look in her eyes before.
Well, we will absolutely get back to this. One of the main reasons you're here is to teach the two of us idiots how to be better wine drinkers.
Yes.
Okay.
On that note,
Yes.
one of the things that I have been told, and I don't know whether this is a myth or not, is that if you're looking at a wine list in a restaurant,
Yeah.
the biggest piece of shit bottle on the wine list is the second cheapest, because they think that idiots like me are gonna not know what to do but be cheap and don't want to look cheap.
And they don't
so you're
wanna
not
buy
gonna
the
order the cheapest. You're gonna order
So
the
it's the
second
second
cheapest,
cheapest.
and that's the worst one.
I don't think that's true. I think
Okay.
I think that's a conspiracy theory. I
Okay.
think that you're generally, I mean, if you don't have the knowledge and you're reading it completely blind,
Right.
Yes.
you want
That's
to
me.
you want to get the wine stored over you, and you want to pick out of the middle of the list
Yeah.
and go somewhere in the middle third. Go, I'm thinking about this one or this one.
What do you
think?
Got it.
And
Yeah.
do they ever not just suggest the
The
more
more
expensive?
expensive.
No, they suggest the cheaper one all the
Do
time.
you hear the Jew
We
paranoia?
just chewed up so hard.
Okay.
Can I?
No.
But they're trying to cheat me.
I'm not.
Wait, on
there's
that topic, hold on. This is
no anti-Semitism.
This is. Oh well, no. You're outnumbered.
no
You're
no Semitism.
How to fuck you up? No. Here's a question. And this does come from a very very cheap place, and I apologize, but I had a dinner the other night
Yeah.
friends, and I think I told you about this. It was a super fancy restaurant, so everything was marked up ridiculous anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every entree was 100 plus, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well,
Can you say the restaurant?
it was Melvin's in Palm Springs,
Oh.
Okay.
and at the third quarter of the dinner,
Right.
everyone was pretty loose, and they came up and asked if there was more wine. Do you guys want more wine? Yada yada. My buddy ordered Opus wine,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which not a great wine to order at a restaurant like that.
No, you would not. That would not be a thing I'd ever order in a restaurant.
So the bottom line is it was $750.
What?
Okay, so here's my question.
I'm surprised it wasn't more.
Right, so it was $750 for the bottle. Now here's the question I have, and I'm actually not coming from a cheap place. I'm coming from a
Like, what's going on here?
No, just truly a curious place as a wine drinker.
Right.
So let's just make huge numbers, but let's call the dinner $1,000.
Yeah.
Right? It was $1,000, and at the very last minute, someone throws in a $750 bottle of wine.
Right.
Are you tipping 20% now?
Oh, fuck.
Look, no disrespect to anybody out there, but they brought a bottle out.
Mm-hmm.
He smelled it and they poured it. Is that a $150 tip?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
So you take the meal, you take the experience.
You've gotten this from every religious background.
I was so fascinated because I'm like, okay, what?
I guess my answer to this is, if you are doing that in that situation,
To flex.
now it's all on you.
Right.
But
But you tip 20%.
No. But I'm saying, that if you're dumb enough to do that, now like you've created a problem that I don't have.
Right.
Right.
The guy who ordered that bottle is paying for the $750. Is what you're.
Well, like, it's not just paying for the $700. He's paying for the tip
Right.
on that.
Right.
Like, you don't get to.
Okay, all right. But
Yeah.
let's just say that you and I go out.
Okay, and we decided tonight we've blown it out. We had a great.
Look,
we
started
things happen.
with appetizers. We had a nice steak for our entree. What guys want a dessert? We'll split a sundae.
And like, yeah, we're gonna have a bottle of Cristal.
So the bill at that point was $320.
Right.
And then at the very end, we're like,
We're like, oh, a bottle of Cristal, yeah.
Right.
Are we tipping 20 on the whole thing?
What would I do in that
Yeah.
situation? Okay, here's
And you have a good server. You have a great
honestly
server.
what I would do is I would literally close out the first bill. And I would tip it appropriately, and then I would say, put that on a separate bill, and I would literally just go, nothing below
That's
it.
such a logical response.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because you just got a fat tip from the actual serving. You
So maybe
brought
go
out a
25.
bottle.
Maybe go 25 on the big one.
It just has to be separate. I think
It's separate.
That's zero.
You literally zero.
What if you ordered French fries?
Then you tip on
Then
the
you
French
tip
fries.
on the French fries.
Right, but I mean, if the separate bill was
Well, if
a
you order
$7
Cristal
fee.
and French fries and it's $5,015,
I know.
you tip.
If you're
$3.
doing it during dinner and it's like in connection with all the service, it's a closer question. But like literally like a post-dinner $700 bottle of
it
champagne.
was during dinner. It was before.
Well,
dinner,
but
and
it
that
was
the fourth or fifth bottle. But it was the only ridiculous one.
I'll tell you what, like, this is like asking about tipping on DoorDash.
That's another. That's a
I feel
separate.
like that's a totally separate.
You know what?
thing.
Come back
It's
to
a very
2 weeks from tonight.
That's a very similar question.
Yeah.
Can we go out and get Cristal and French fries?
Yeah, or have it postmated here.
Yeah. Anyway.
Grow up.
Good night.
All right, let's
Good
move
night.
on. Let's move on. So
Thanks.
I did want to ask you a question because
Yeah.
you mentioned something earlier. Let's just say, because I'm obviously, I'm new, but you're a pretty advanced
This
dude.
is so fucking good.
Where are you buying?
Sorry that
It is.
I want to apologize to myself that I brought this for you.
Well, I'll tip 20%.
Don't.
Okay, yeah, or
don't
nothing, yeah.
apologize on our behalf.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Nothing.
finish.
I want
it
to
on the
apologize to
camera.
myself that I indulged you. in
Okay,
this.
No.
let's say that I came away from tonight and I'm inspired.
Okay.
And I got a couple
You
bucks.
want to be a
Okay, the
Where do
number
I
one,
buy? Where
the
do I
number
buy?
one place. Yes, the good news is if you live in Los Angeles, you have the single best resources for purchasing in America, including New York, and way ahead of Chicago, and way ahead of San Francisco.
Physically, like they're here.
They're here.
You just get in your
You
car.
just get in your car, and they're way better than anywhere else.
Wow.
But
So
probably not at like 9 a.m. or 4 p.m.
you're right. So you have five.
A lot of sand.
You have five great.
Oh, I see.
You have five great shops in Southern California. Actually, you have six.
Can we
six.
go?
Six of the top 8 in America.
Okay. Oh, if we cut out at any point, we love you guys.
Okay.
We're gonna
Are there any questions? by
tag
way?
the shops in the comments. Oh, Ted Miller says.
Oh, what's up, Ted?
Hi, Ted.
You know Andy. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the 6.
Let's put 6 up.
Okay, all right. Number 6 would be the Wine Exchange in Costa Mesa. No, I'm sorry. No, whoa.
Jesus, Andy.
Sorry. High Time Cellars in Costa Mesa. High Time Wine and Spirits in Costa
And
Mesa.
weed? Do they sell weed there?
Yeah, it is called High Time, but it's that's in Costa Mesa.
H-I.
Hitime.
Everything will be tagged in the.
Okay.
That
was number 6?
That was number 6. Number 5 is Wally's in Beverly Hills. They have everything, but their pricing is terrible.
Because
They're in
Beverly
Beverly Hills. Number 4 would be
location.
Number 4 would be the Wine Exchange in Santa Ana. That is just straight up like they have great selection and it's just no frills. Everything is sourced correctly. It is pricing in Santa Ana right off the 5 freeway.
It's like close-ish to Disneyland. So what you do is you drop your kids at Disneyland and then you go enjoy your day.
Okay, so that would be that.
Oh, yeah, like 6-year-olds.
Number 3 would be, and by the way, these are in order.
6, 5, 4, we're at 3.
3. The Winehouse in Santa Monica, but it's right on the border of Santa Monica and West LA. I don't know what they're technically.
West
it's
of the
right,
405.
right, literally under the 405.
Oh, okay.
The 405 is 30 feet behind the back end of the shop. It's at Pico and the 405.
There you go.
It's on a street called Cotner.
Yeah, I know
Which
Cotner.
it's on Cotner. They have the biggest thing I can say about them is they have great service and great integrity. So they will it's the number 1 customer service place for wine I've ever been in. So if you just want to make sure that whatever you're doing isn't going to go wrong, that is the place.
Where you go.
That's where you go.
Right.
They are just the most customer-focused place. They have the best customer service in the whole wine industry.
Number 2.
By a lot. Number 2 would be K&L.
I know K&L.
K&L is it's a
Hollywood?
California chain. They have shops in Northern California, but they also have one in Hollywood. And just their pricing and selection is awesome. Mm-hmm. But they're honest, but they don't give a shit about you. It's extremely transactional. You hand them the money, they hand you the things.
Can you give the disclaimer about him again? That the thoughts that he has aren't our thoughts.
Okay.
That's also my thought about K&L.
Oh,
I love K&L.
I love
but
it.
but it's
you're saying honest and transactional. That's what I want. Don't fucking patronize me. It's probably a different experience for you going into any business than it is for me going into any business.
it's interesting that K&L is the only place that I know, and then in my experience, there's been awesome.
It's not transactional. Doesn't mean
Yeah,
bad
but
service.
They actually walked you around and showed you shit.
Yeah, kind of.
That's
But
shocking to me.
I'm charismatic and good looking.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not.
I get people.
Definitely what went
Okay.
wrong with it.
So, but here's the takeaway, and I think that I can say this because I transact so much business with these people, not because I get some deals. Number 1 is by a lot.
Whoa.
Is Woodland Hills Wine Company, and you say Woodland Hills, the best wine shop in LA is in Woodland Hills. The answer is yeah, it certainly is.
Well, you're saying it's the best in LA, and it's one of
It's one of the
three.
top 2 in the country.
Wow.
It's really, really great. I've been shopping at Woodland Hills since the 1990s, and back then it was run by absolute assholes, and their pricing was terrible, but their selection was amazing. But it was just amazing selection, terrible people, terrible pricing. And in the last 8 years, they've just said, you know what, maybe we should just keep the same great selection and make the prices better and not be assholes.
And be cool.
Yeah.
I like
so
that.
They fired the old management and they have new people in, and I love that place. I mean, Steve has an idea about how much money I spend on wine, and it's a lot.
It's embarrassing.
They get
You have
like
a
they get
problem. You have a legit problem.
they get a third of it.
That's
Like
amazing.
they get a third of it.
That's
So we should reach out to the staff at Woodland Hills.
They're
Try
super
to
good.
sell them houses because
Yeah.
how much money you're spending.
well, and if
Yeah.
you ever need to buy something, drop Andy Heger's name, and maybe you
Right.
get like five.
And like for German wine and for Italian wine, they are without compare.
Those are my two,
Okay.
German and
Well,
Italian.
yeah. For French wine, you probably go to the Winehouse or to the Wine Exchange. But for German wine or Italian wine, you go to Woodland Hills.
Most
Do we have any questions
underrated
up here?
Italian wine. No. This is about us.
Well, I just wonder if
There's no
anybody has any
questions.
questions.
No, people are just saying hello and waving.
Hi.
What do you feel is the most underrated Italian wine that you appreciate?
The most underrated Italian, like single wine or style of wine?
Style.
Sure. Aglianico from Campania down in the southwest.
Come on.
Campania.
Okay.
This is where my people live.
Okay. All right. Aglianico is a really sort of, it's a kind of, if the weather is hot, it's easy to make. I that's what I think I know.
Oh.
Okay.
So
So it's going to get better or it's going to get worse?
no, like, well, it's a little bit like the Zinfandel of Italy.
Okay.
So it's very extracted, and it's very high in alcohol, and it's very sort of pleasing to drink on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And these wines are not very expensive. So that would be one. And I think that the white wines of far northeastern Italy, when you're getting in toward like Slovenia, there are some amazing wines up there. There's a winery called Cantino di Terlan, Terlan, and Terlan is like, their white wines are incredible and cheap and weird and cool. If you like
That
white wines,
minerally-
yeah, exactly.
So what are your thoughts on then Georgian white and Sardinian white?
What is that,
Georgian?
Yeah.
I don't know that I know. I can't speak on those.
Okay.
Sardinian wines I've had a lot. I've been to Sardinia. They're great, but that is like
right? Sardinia.
that is like outdoor.
What kind of horseshit is that?
That is like,
Yeah, well,
but that is just
funny how
like
you bring up
that is
Sardinia.
just
Very
like
goaty.
no. Sardinian whites are like grilled fish outside when it's 130 degrees. Get
Wow.
out your Sardinian whites and ice cold those.
So for the desert, I should get some of this.
Yeah, you should.
We should
Well,
piece
we
out.
are
Yeah, we should piece
way
out.
over time and under battery. So thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you, Mr. Andy.
That's amazing, Andy Heger.
All right, cheers, guys. I had fun.
You're the best.
All right.
2 weeks from tonight, we'll come up with some other thing that we know nothing about.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
I'm going to approach. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to approach. Let me do it.
You want to do it?
Yeah, because I want to show everyone my wound.
Oh yeah.
This is what inspections.
May or may not be concussed.
Can you see the top of my
This
head?
is the dedication.
Yeah.
You see it?
Up, tilt it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no,
over to
down,
your
down,
left.
down, down.
Yeah.
Hey.
Today.
Head wound.
Yeah, home inspections. Good fun. All right, what do I do?
End it.
End it. Don't know how to
The
do
big
that.
red button, probably.
Boy. No, it's the X.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
But don't get rid of anything yet.
Okay, and now?
End now.